там далеко, за твоей спиной, когда было хорошо, помнишь меня? Было нелегко, но я вижу, как ты улетела высоко, выше облаков. Я и коматоз, дари пару нот. Как твои дела? Мы так давно с тобой не виделись. Я принес твои любимые лилии. Не волнуйся за меня, моя милая. Я стану самым сильным. Если нужно улететь, я нарисую крылья. Руки грели меня в холод, когда не просил я. Почему ты улетела, когда полюбила я? Помнишь меня? Я там далеко, за твоей спиной, когда было хорошо. Помнишь меня? Было нелегко, но я вижу, как ты улетела высоко, выше облаков. Я и коматоз, дари пару нот. Как твои дела? Почему ты опять молчишь? Я же видел тебя рядом, ты же делаешь вид. И прошу тебя, дыши, я уверен, ты спишь. Проснись. Я не хочу остаться здесь один. Совсем один. Совсем один. Помнишь меня? Я там далеко, за твоей спиной, когда было хорошо. Помнишь меня? Было нелегко, но я вижу, как ты улетела высоко, выше облаков. Я и коматоз, дари пару нот. Помнишь меня?
Как себя от тебя отучить? У меня на это 100 причин, 100 проблем. Это ты, как же так? Крепко влип в лук твой номер. Отвали, не пали с левых страниц. Я окей, переболит. Пей свой коктейль и веселись. С кем уедешь домой? Это лишь на одну ночь. Пьяные чувства, но под утро посадит такси. Вновь тебе станет так пусто. Ты заплачешь и наберешь, но ответишь одни гудки. Абонент уже не в сети. Мое сердце по тебе плачет и тоскует, пока ты по барам себя тратишь и танцуешь. Но пока вот всю боль не спрячешь, не забудешь, как летал со мной. Так уже с другим не будешь. Мое сердце по тебе плачет и тоскует, пока ты по барам себя тратишь и танцуешь. Но пока вот всю боль не спрячешь, не забудешь, как летал со мной. Так уже с другим не будешь. Снова затяг, снова на нервах, снова на лопаси. Наперекосяк в этих чертовых стенах. Нас уже не найти, нас уже не спасти. Хватит держать меня, просто отпусти. Давишь на слабости, это же крайность, больше нету сил. Каждый день карусель, а на душе вьюги метели. Снова утром поймешь, что опять ты не с тем в одной постели. Ты заплачешь и наберешь, но ответишь одни гудки. Абонент уже не в сети. Мое сердце по тебе плачет и тоскует, пока ты по барам себя тратишь и танцуешь. Но пока вот всю боль не спрячешь, не забудешь, как летал со мной. Так уже с другим не будешь. Мое сердце по тебе плачет и тоскует, пока ты по барам себя тратишь и танцуешь. Но пока вот всю боль не спрячешь, не забудешь, как летал со мной. Так уже с другим не будешь.
Good afternoon from a beautiful city of Sochi in the south of Russia on the Black Sea. I have always dreamt to be showing the Russia I know to the foreigners, so dreams come true. Yeah, if you want to start learning and finding out something about the country, you have to know that we are all about our history, and we have quite a turbulent and rich past. People usually like historical museums if they say they don't and history is not important. They are lying. don't believe them. History is very important. Culture is quite important too. We have been through some turbulent times back in the 90s, but these times are over now and we are back up on our feet and kicking. So here I am, out and about, showing you about the life in our country. Welcome. So right now I'm living in Sochi. It's a little bit of information about the city. It's the longest city in Europe and it stretches for 140 kilometers along the coast of the Black Sea. 140 kilometers, imagine that. It's pretty long. And it's got a few settlements, so to say, or a few separate towns or cities, if you like. I'm currently living in central district, it's central Sochi, the city of Sochi. But there is also Adler and a few more. All the tourists who read some tour guides about Sochi, they find out first that there are some nice historical parks. Oh no, look at, I cannot be speaking. I got distracted. So, yellow. First things that you read in the guidebooks is that you have to visit some parks out here in Sochi. These parks are the Arboretum Park. In Russian it's called Introductory, which is a historical place, and there are many different sorts and types of plants there. I personally think it's a little outdated and I don't quite enjoy visiting it, but in tour guides they say that you have to, so probably you have to check it out. The second park they recommend to visit is called Riviera. It's also a historical park, quite run down. I don't love it and I do not recommend it, because there are some more parks that are... This is our famous marshrutka, by the way. That's a small bus. And we are going to see the local market. So I'll return to the places you have to see in a second. So welcome to the market. I don't usually go to markets, and I'm from the north of the country. I'm from St. Petersburg, and in St. Petersburg the markets are not super duper popular, but I have no idea what's going on here. So the local market here in Sochi, because Sochi is a southern city and markets are quite traditional here. I suppose you have to have all the fruit and vegetables being sold, so it's just a must. So the traditional market looks like this. You get all the sorts of berries. We are not getting... Oh, this is, by the way, called churchkela, and that's a Caucasian sweet, which is nuts in dried fruit syrup, if I explain it correctly. Oh, cherries, oh my goodness. And all the possible greens and veggies and just everything. There's a cellar needed if you like, and watermelons. Do you like watermelons? I don't. Do I? I don't. So well, also you can have some whatever. I don't know how to name this, tobacco here, and also bread and cakes. This is a traditional southern bakery, and ta-da, you get different pastry here. A lot of it is Georgian, and Georgian is typically baked with cheese, so you are to expect a lot of cheese in this. Also, let us see what else we have here. Usually there are pretty good meat shops in the markets, and pretty nice traditional sweets, but this shop, I don't know, oh yeah, it actually illustrates our culture of sweets quite nicely. This is called halva. What is that in English? Pretty tasty though. These are Eastern sweets, and all the possible cookies, biscuits. Ta-da-ta-tan-tan-tan. Добрый день. Some candies if you like, chocolate, cakes. What do we have here? Is there anything interesting? Well, these wraps are with condensed milk. Pretty popular. Alright, some more cookies. I just wanted to show you. We have all the possible lemonades, water, more cookies, and what's here? Some groceries and a milk shop. Let's take a peek. All the possible grains. Grains are super popular, so I love this one. This is the most popular Russian grain. It's called bakrit. It's very good for you and quite nourishing too. Better than pasta. I also love. What I also love. Oh, I love this one. Malina. It's quite tasty. Cooked with milk. And our local ice creams. All the sorts. Not all the sorts, but pretty many. All the sorts that you would want. Боржоми, by the way, is popular Georgian mineral water. Popular around. Да, я сейчас ухожу. Jesus. Это бесплатная реклама. Okay. So, and a meat shop. If you like meat. Do I like meat? Not too much. So, this is what my local market looks like. I usually go to the supermarket. Not many people, as you can see, not many people shop in the markets, but I guess it's not an option. Too bad, you know. It's just luxury to get something really fresh from the farmers in the market. I usually go to the supermarket across the road here. So let us cross over, and if you have ever wondered what it's just funny what a typical Russian supermarket is like, that would be something like that. Just give me a second, I have to cross the road. Today is a Sunday and маршрутка, and it's a little bit busy. Пятерочка in the neighborhood. By the way, we are going to this bakery after the supermarket because I would like to grab a pie and some coffee. I'll share with you, no problem. Don't like to... Alright. So the places that I would recommend visiting in Sochi would be the Sochi city center around the old seaport. Seaport is pretty lovely, and all the area around is really touristy. It's not the residential area you see here because I'm living not in the city center. It's a few kilometers away, and you normally do not see any tourists. It's just locals around. Yeah, and give me a sec.
Что, нет творога?
Есть. So, nothing special, right? What I want to tell you that I would love to relocate somewhere to the city center because the lifestyle is completely different. It's just a few kilometers away from here, and it's because this area is, as you can see, it's a lot of older Soviet buildings, and they are from around the 70s, where they built a lot of cheap housing because they needed to place a lot of people, give place to live to a lot of people. So right now we have a little bit of a trouble with cheap living, cheap housing. I mean, that's gotten pretty expensive because because this is what happens with the housing over time. And that probably was a mistake, but now you have what you have, like you have to find your way here. So of course, but I would love to relocate somewhere to the city center or the areas around, because it's a little different lifestyle, and that's the lifestyle that I would prefer. But it takes time. Let's grab a coffee. It's open. Ta-da! So they've got baguettes, different breads. Oh, they've got my favorite buns. They've got one with cabbage. Здравствуйте. With an egg, with potatoes, with cheese, with chicken. What else? Chicken again, pizza, filling, cheese, meat. That's sausage wrapped in dough. But I prefer the sweet ones. Oh, I love this one. This one's. And this is with cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is Russian milk product. Here you can see it cooked, but you can have it fresh too. So with blackcurrant, strawberry, cherry, cinnamon. What else? With oh man, don't ask me. Just okay. And croissants with condensed milk. Okay. So, what would I like? What would I like? I would like to show you this one with cottage cheese, just because probably you're not familiar with that. But oh, this one actually is also with cottage cheese and some baked cottage cheese and some berry topping. Можно, пожалуйста, шарлотку с клубникой и латте? Кофе? Да. По карте.
сахара идет.
Да, хорошо, не надо сахара. Не надо сахара.
Что-то еще?
Нет, это все, спасибо.
Все?
Угу. По карте. Спасибо. So well. So how much do you want to know about me? So that's basically a local bakery that I pretty much enjoy. It's lovely, and they make nice pastry. Cheers. I love pastry here. Just pastry is really good. I believe just like pastry in any country of the world, basically.
А у вас лавашей нету толку?
Только вот так вот лаваша. Вот.
А, нет, ну,
Whoop. I started telling you some time ago about historical museums around here. History plays a big role in our lives, and it's basically what we are is because of our turbulent past. I'm planning to go to a historical museum today, which is called the Dacha of Joseph Stalin. Probably you know Joseph Stalin. He was the ruler of the country back in the beginning of the 20th century. Pretty strong, but pretty cruel. He was. Well, I'm not good at speaking about history because I'm not a historian. I'm just an amateur. I'm just the person who shares a few facts they know. Yeah, and so this is also one of the places that guidebooks I recommend you to see if you're in the Sochi area, as I'm here for about half a year, and from what I know, from what I think is worth visiting, it is some natural places, because as I told you before, nature is amazing, absolutely amazing. You don't really find a lot of things of this kind, as you can see here in many places around Russia. You've got all the possible canyons, waterfalls, mountains, rocks, a lot of things. I've shown you previously Agura Falls and Eagle Rocks. Yeah, and I'm going to see some more probably in a few weeks. By the way, also, if you're in Sochi, it's a good idea to visit the few places in the mountains, because Sochi is a pretty huge area along the sea coast and also up in the mountains. And the Adler district I told you about, if you travel some 40 kilometers up in the mountains, you are in a pretty fancy location around, which is called Krasnaya Polyana, which is if you translate that, it's named the Red Clearing. The Red Clearing, like clearing in the forest, but it's up in the mountains. And it's got a few smaller villages, I would say, that you can visit. They are naturally amazing. It's famous Rosa Hutter, if you haven't seen or you haven't heard about it. 2 weeks ago I was staying there for the weekend, and I will but I'm going to make a video, and it's coming next, about that weekend. It was amazing and much fancier style than my day out today. Today is just, like go not local, and pretty on the simple mode, nothing fancy like that. Okay, so that's Rosa Hutter. Yeah. Okay, and Este Sadok. Este Sadok is also a small village, just a few kilometers away from Rosa Hutter. You cannot call those villages just they are the size of the village, but they are basically like fully functioning European town. These two places are amazing. I love them. They've got the good example of Russian European lifestyle. Let's say like St. Petersburg style of lifestyle, because each city in Russia has got its own lifestyle, because let's say Sochi is in the south, and as you can see, it's got this vibrant southern feel to it, a little bit exotic, a little bit wild. Probably the nature is according to its location, and the life here is just what you expect to see in the south. But for example, in the northern parts, Siberia is quite different. Siberia is more calm. It's more like uplifted and not shook. If I can speak with my mouth full. Okay, so like I told you, I will tell you. Can I? Well. So in Siberia you can find some of the good education, for example. Some places are amazing with absolutely wonderful wild nature. A wild taiga, for example, smaller hills, these vast spaces, just very fascinating. But the cities there are just like regular cities, a little bit not as well maintained as the cities of the European part of Russia, because Russia has got two parts, Asian and European, and it's basically divided into by the Ural Mountains. Yeah, so Siberia is everything to the right of the Urals, and European part of Russia, where the majority of the population lives. To be honest, I think it's the majority, because there are many more cities in the European part of Russia rather than in Siberia, because of the climate. So what I was saying, I lost the train of thought. Well, yeah, Siberian cities are a little bit more run down probably than the cities in the European part, and nothing compares here in Russia with Moscow and St. Petersburg. These are basically the two places that everybody visits first if they come. First and only if they come to visit Russia. I love Moscow. St. Petersburg is my hometown. I'm a lot of a St. Petersburg girl. I would say I'm a little bit. I was growing up and living a little bit off St. Petersburg. I mean, a few kilometers away from the city itself. So basically, it's the region around the city, not Leningrad region, not the city itself. But I was studying and working in St. Petersburg, so I can be proud naming this city my hometown. Yeah, so, and those places in the mountains, Krasная Поляна, Este Sadok, and Rosa Hutor, they've got this European sort of lifestyle that you can find in these places in Russia. Not quite the lifestyle you can see, for example, here in the area that you see today. Or the city center of Sochi is more European, and as I have seen you in the beginning of this video. It's not bad. So let me finish and I'll return to you.
Да? Ну, так это мой брат родной.
Кто-то еще будете? Лёва, будешь пирожок? 200 рублей. Ну, выбирай, какой хочешь. Вот с вишней есть, с клубникой.
I promised to show you Marshrutka the other day, but I will do that in a few videos, because today we are going to the dacha of Joseph Stalin, and it's best to take a taxi there. So let's take a taxi. Yeah, we are taking this one. had about 20 daches or country houses. So this, as the guidebook actually says, this was his favorite because it's up in the mountains, but green, to make it as invisible as possible. And it's a museum now. So let's take a look. We love history museums. Told you. Sure. Опс, господи. Воу. Вот это дача. Oh, what a dacha. It's not bad. Okay. No smoking. Sochi actually has a policy, or a non-smoking policy. Well, I mean, they just promote healthy lifestyle. Can I touch this? Goodness gracious. Goodness. Man, what? Oh, that's so fun. Oh, come on. What? You can kill with this horse. need to say that Stalin loved Sochi, and a lot of the historical part of the city looks what it looks like now because of him. Not the worst place to have a dacha in. Nice. That up there on the hill, that's what I can afford. And I believe this is Adler there in the distance. The district I told you about earlier. Что в море сегодня творится?